Hi, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're at right now. My name is Rebecca Willis. I'm a student for the University of Louisiana Monroe, and for the collaboration and consultation class, SPED 50/50. During our class, we've been tasked with giving a presentation for a virtual instruction, and specifically with Google Classroom. Um, I have been teaching for 14 years in the Bossier Parish school systems. I taught 4 in the family consumer science area, and before I moved and transitioned into the library, and I've been there for 14 years now. Um, I have been working with Google Classroom for about 3, possibly 4 years, depends on when we first implemented it into Bossier schools. But we've been working with this program, this platform for a bit, and during that time, I have established the Level 2 Google Educator certification and am planning to work towards my training. During this time, I've learned that every time I log into Google, there's something new to learn, and something that I didn't know before. So, to keep it very basic for teachers who are wanting to learn the platform but not be totally overwhelmed with all of that Google offers, I'm going to stick to some very simple techniques, just creating and setting up and trying to organize through some classroom assignments. Um, First, I do want to remind you that if you need to access any of the handouts to this presentation, you may do so. There is a link that was provided in the email that was sent to access the presentation today. Um, these will be very helpful for taking any notes that you have. So let's just get right into it. Google Classroom is a platform that allows you to access or to virtually instruct your students. And there are so many different ways to access information and to provide that information for your students. So our objectives today is we're going to create and set up that Google Classroom for you. It's a very simple. We're going to navigate through the Google Classroom. There are several tabs that I want you to be aware of as you navigate through your new classroom. We're going to set up a topic, which is going to help you organize throughout your assignments. Topics can help you and your students identify what's going on within the class and what it needs to be, what's grouped together. Think of it as an outline. So, and we're also going to create an assignment that will go underneath this topic. The topics are going to include the assignment titles, description instructions that we'll talk more about in just a second. We're going to add a file, a link, Google YouTube video, and or a document from a Google Drive. We're also going to create a show you how students can create different applications within an assignment so that you don't have to make them for them. For them, you can have them make it and you receive it. And they can do this through Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, drawings, or even forms. They can develop a form for you or for their entire class. We're also going to talk about how you can take this assignment and share it across a series of classrooms that you've already created. You can also share just the individual assignment with individual students or with a group of students. So if you're working with a group of individuals, you can share just this assignment that you want them to complete within Google Classroom. We're also going to talk about how to schedule dates and times. I do have several teachers who are like, I really wish I could just not have to wait till the day that the assignment is due. And if I were sick, then it would just already come up. Well, you can. You can automatically release the assignment date as well as set due dates and times. We'll talk about a topic assignment. We'll also briefly touch on doing some creating a rubric from the assignment. This is something new that I have found, and I'm really excited about it, so I can use it during my library classes. And we'll talk a little bit about the originality reports that are available within Google, and there are some restrictions, but we'll talk about that in just a second. So let's get started. To start off, to make a Google Classroom, you need to access your Google Apps. And by doing so, you're going to go up to the top right-hand corner of your screen, right-hand corner, and you're going to click on what we refer to as the waffle. Once you click on the waffle, it's going to come down, it's going to give you some options, and there's going to be your Google Apps that are available for our educators in this platform. So you'll have your account information. You also can access your Google email. I'm assuming that your district has that. your drive, your calendar. This is a big thing for the library. I keep up with my calendar like it's nothing. I have several calendars and I'm constantly adding and subtracting and adding more information to my calendar. It helps me stay organized. You can also put your docs in that are available for you. You can you can create a doc. Big thing here, and I'm just going to circle this quickly, is your drive. Most of the information that you pull from your Google Classroom automatically is stored within your drive. So this will be a neat thing. But all of these apps are something for you to explore later. We'll talk about a couple little things as we go in. But really what I want you to do is I want you to click on the Classroom link. And once you click on that Classroom link, you're going to be given a Google Classroom, or at the top of the screen, I should say, you're going to have a plus sign. And that plus sign is basically create, or do you want to join a class? Well, we're educators. We're going to create that class. So once you find this, you click on the plus, click create. I wish I'd gotten you a picture specifically that showed you create, but it'll say create. So we're going to create. And whenever you create, what's going to happen is you're going to get a box that pops up and it's going to ask you for the details for your class. So first of all, which is required, is you need to have some sort of aspect of what your class is called. If you're an English 1 teacher, great, put English 1. You can put a grade level, you can put ninth grade for your class name. For your section, right here, I listed the section can be the period. So if you are teaching second period, or if you're teaching a block, or teaching fourth block, or a term, fall, or year, such as 21, or 22, or 2021, or a semester, whichever, make sure that you be very specific about your section whenever you type that in. This is going to help you when you archive an older classroom. It's going to help you come back to the specific area. It's also going to help you if you have 4 classes that are English 1, it'll help you distinguish which class is which by putting in that block. You can add in your subject area. I suggest that you add in a subject area even though it may be the same name with your classroom name above. Also, your room, if you choose to put your room in, you can. I'm library, so I just put in library. If you're room 4 on the second floor or 204, you can write 204, whichever best benefits you. I know that there are some teachers who roam around campus, so the classroom may be actually benefit to your students who may forget where you're meeting. Once you've established that and you've pressed, let's go back here, and you press create down here at the bottom, your home screen to your new classroom will pop up. Now, your home screen has many things that you can do with it. You know, I know that you've probably seen where teachers have taken and they changed the theme to their classroom, and that's all well and great. But for today, we're going to keep it very simple. And we're going to discuss simple tabs that you're going to see throughout your classroom. So the first tabs that you're going to see is called the Stream tab, and this is where you can leave announcements for your students and updates. I do this for, I teach a credit recovery class in addition to library science, and I have a cyber society class that I teach. And within those classes, I can leave specific information for my students. Hey guys, don't forget that this assignment is due on this day. I know many school districts have apps, but the Google Classroom Stream automatically will notify my students through their emails that Miss Willis just posted an announcement for your class. So it can be more of a reminder, another form of communication that you want to use for your students. This is also where you can create conversations and discussions with your students. I sometimes will have to say something individually to my students, which is the next part, leave feedback to individual students. And I will, for my credit recovery class, I will select this person. Oh, Tammy, today we're going to, don't forget that we have an assignment that is due on this date, and I need you to be at this specific percentage or have this specific assignment completed by this date. Hope you're doing great. Great job in your class. Just to give some sort of feedback for my students. That's been very helpful with my stream. This is not, I do want to put this warning out, this is not a place that you really want to post your assignments. However, our next tab is called the Classwork tab. When you post this assignment we're about to create, in just a minute, the classroom or the classwork, once you post that assignment, is going to go and automatically notify the students in your stream file. So students will automatically know when you have posted something that they need to return. The classwork tab inside, and this is the one we're going to specifically stay with today. This one organizes materials and resources and assignments for your students. This is something that you're going to see assignments and that you've given to the students, things that were posted, things that have not yet posted, and what the students are going to see. Organization for the students in learning, this is the spot where you need to really think about how you want your students to access the information in an organized fashion. Otherwise, they can get quickly confused. So think really long and hard about how you want your classwork section to appear to your students. So this will be the most time that we'll spend here. Quickly, the other two tabs are called People. People is where you can see a list of your students who have joined your classroom. You can also invite teachers, other teachers. Like for me in the library, I will ask a teacher, are you coming to the library? They'll say yes. And I'll say, can you add me to your Google Classroom so that I can post assignments that can be done with your class when I come and teach? And they're like, sure. So all they have to do is add in my email address, and I accept the invitations when it comes through my email or through my classroom. My classroom will give me an option to add the class, and this will give me the opportunity to access their classroom and to be able to teach so that the students aren't getting something new from me in a new classroom. It also gives you an access to invite the students. If you look over here on the right-hand side, we have a little, looks like a little piece of paper. This little piece of paper is a copy link. So anytime that you click the copy link, it's going to automatically copy it, where you can copy and paste it into a document or in an email, however, to invite students. And just another method of invitation to your students. And then also, this is where you can, if your district has your students loaded into the databases or into the platform, most do, you can type in the student's name or their email, and their name will come up, and you can invite these students individually. The grades portion, this has been fun for me, spending very little time on this today, but you'll see that the grades is where whenever the students complete or have not completed, you'll notice that down here I have a bunch that are missing. All of these right here are assignments that I've given to several of my students, and when they haven't completed something, it notifies me, especially when they don't turn in the assignment, and then I can address that individually with the students. But this is basically my Google Gradebook. I don't use this a lot because my district doesn't really recognize using the graded system, and the students don't look at the grades. They specifically stick to their grading platform that the pair sends out to them. So, but this is a really neat tool for you as a teacher to see what has or has not been returned in your Google Classroom. When you're navigating your classroom, some of the special things that you need to pay attention to before you get started with anything is setting up your settings for the classroom. So in the top right-hand corner, which you'll find most everything that you're going to be doing is in your top right-hand corner, is the settings wheel. The settings wheel, once you click on the settings wheel, it's going to give you several class details that you can go through. When we created our classroom, we had the opportunity of writing in the classroom name, the description of the class, the section, the room, and the subject. So within this class, I can go through and I can edit this information. If I decided, I don't really want to name my class that, I want to change it, I can change it here. I can also add in the class description. I'm sorry, I misspoke. We were not given the option to do a class description at the beginning. Now you are. So here you can type in, the information that you need to describe the class to your students, and they'll be better prepared of, hey, what's this class about? There you go. There's the description. If you wanted to change anything or add something, this is the place to do it. And once you scroll down a little bit under the general part of your sections or your settings, you're going to see that Google gives you the opportunity to do invitation codes. And these invitation codes are shareable to your students, anybody who has a link, and it's just another method of giving out more more communication in different areas and in different places so that students have access to being invited to your classroom. You have manage invite codes. This is a really neat feature for you because sometimes these links, students can forget where they were. They can forget different areas. Oh, here's In manage invite codes, we have the down arrow on the right-hand side, and it says turned on. Right now, my invitation codes are turned on. If I wanted to turn off all the codes and all the links where students couldn't get in and they could only get in by invitation of me, then I could turn that off. So it's basically me restricting students from giving the codes out to other students who may want to come into my classroom. I can also reset the codes. Maybe I had a student who gave that code out to several friends and they're trying to play a practical joke on me, and they take those codes and they come in and they start comment on my stream. I don't want them to do that, so I may want to turn it off, or I may want to reset that code so that no other student can come into my classroom that's not enrolled in my classroom right now. um, Also, again, you're going to see the invite copy button right here. You can click this and copy it. And again, another method of communication. You can send it email. You can send it through your app if you've got an app with your district. The other thing is, if you just want to wait for students to come in, you don't necessarily have to type in their names to invite them to your classrooms. You can automatically give them the class code. So when they come into the classroom, you go, okay, students, we're going to get into Google Classroom and you can join my class. And here's the code. You can display this code by clicking display class code, and it becomes very large and it can be put on your projector, and students can look at the code and automatically add it into their classroom or add your classroom through the code. It's just a form of making it a little bit easier. Instead of us verbally saying, now they have a visual aspect. Further down in your settings, you're going to see, I'm going to move my picture over here just for a second. You're going to see that you have access to setting up different areas of your classroom, one of which is the stream. And I've already spoke with you about the stream, where you can post this information and you can have discussions. But sometimes as a teacher, we don't necessarily want to have students post or respond to questions. So within your stream, you'll have a drop-down menu, and it'll say students can post and comment. So this allows the students to post questions and comments on the stream. This is something that you can monitor definitely, and I encourage anyone to monitor whatever the students comment, any questions that they have in this section. You can also have just students can only comment, meaning that I can post something, a discussion question, and students can only comment. They can comment to each other, but they can only comment. They can't change your post. They can't, or they can't make their own post within the stream. Only teachers can post or comment. This right here will allow you to be able to, hey, students, don't forget, and nobody be able to post and nobody be able to comment to that. They would have to communicate with you in another means. Um, Also, within your classwork, move my picture down just a little bit more. Classwork on Stream also has a drop-down menu, and it gives you access to how you want your stream to appear. And I'll show this to you in just a second. You can show your attachments and details. So anytime that you post a comment, or if you post an assignment in your classwork, remember I said the classwork assignment is going to post automatically as a notification on your stream. So whenever you post that assignment, you have options on how you want that information to appear on your stream, how you want the students to be notified that something has changed or that you have said something in your classroom. So within your stream, you have 3 options for setting this up. You have the first one being show attachments and details, which this shows the entire message or the entire assignment. You have show condensed notifications, and this shows only the announcement title and when you posted it. And then you also have hide notifications, which is going to be something where nothing is posted. Students are not going to see assignments that are posted. They're not going to see any comments or things that you've posted on your stream. It's just going to be blank. So here is information, or this is a viewing of this picture right here, is a viewing of what it's going to look like when you condense your notifications. It shows only the assignment topic. This right here will allow the students to be notified. Also, if you go a little further down, you're going to see that there's a grading. There's a grading section. I do not deal with the grading section personally, but you may want to. This may be something that you want to explore. But I like I said earlier, I use this specifically just to know if students are completing assignments, and students are not actively looking at grades. They are looking at those on our grading platform that's separate from Google. So this is just something that you can set up, especially if you want it to be specific to your district. Anytime you finish with your settings, when you click that settings wheel, make any notification adjustments or setting adjustments, make sure that you go up to the right-hand corner and definitely click save. If you click out of this, none of your settings has been saved. So just fair warning, make sure that you click save. Now, once I finish with with doing my settings, it's going to throw me back into the very first part of my stream. It's not going to take me into any other tab, but anytime I do settings, it's going to throw me back into the home screen. So here's my home screen. This is our classroom that I made specifically for this presentation. And down at the bottom, it says communicate with your class. I have chosen to condense my notifications, so you'll see very few notifications within the classroom that we'll touch on later. So we're going to move on to our next tab, which is the Classwork tab. This is the one where we're going to spend the majority of our time today. Our Google Classwork tab is where we can make assignments and ask questions, post materials. It's our specific communication to our students on what we require for specific areas or units. Whenever you get to the Classwork tab, we're going to create an assignment today. And I just want you to see we're going to create a topic first. But we're going to click create. And what you'll see in the create, let me move my picture back up here. What you're going to see under create is the assignment. You can create a quiz assignment. You can create a question, material. You can reuse an assignment from a previous post. Lifesaver when you're quickly trying to get through those lessons. And then you can also do a topic. The assignment portion is where you're going to see graded and ungraded assignment post. Or you can create a graded or an ungraded assignment post. You can, for quiz assignment, you can specifically create or add a Google form for a quiz. Within the Google platform, you can create your quiz, and you can also, if students are taking this quiz on a Chromebook, you can lock the screen so that students can't access an additional tab at the top of their screen and start looking up the answers to your quiz. Now, that doesn't stop them at home if they're virtual, because they can definitely pull up their cell phones, or they can pull up another computer or a tablet. But it definitely is something that we can use within our classroom and stop students from using or looking up the answers in any other way, shape, or form. The question assignment, or the question part of create, is I can in real time assign a question to my students. I can do that with a short answer or a multiple choice response, and I can push it out to my students. The students can use it as a bell ringer or a first five, and they can come in and they can open it up, answer the questions, and then as a class, we can go back and discuss the whole what people thought about it, or how they answered to that specific question. So it's a good assignment or technique that we can use during a classroom virtual or physical face-to-face instructional method. Material. Whenever you post a material, this is not an assignment. It's not something that's going to be graded. It's just something that you want the students to be aware of. So within my materials that I give to my students, I have my syllabus for the semester, and then I also have my bell schedule and anything else that our district or administration may want me to give to my students. I also have a reuse post, and like I said, this can be a lifesaver for sure. But I can take the same assignment that I used in a classroom that I previously had and reuse that post, make a couple of edits to it, and then post it again for the current class. So let's say I taught library science in the fall and I'm teaching it again in the spring. I can and I want to use this assignment I used in fall. I can go into my spring classroom that I've made for library science, click reuse post, and it'll give me options that I can choose from which classrooms, what post, and when it was posted. And all I have to do is click, it opens it up, edit it, and it posts for me. Best thing ever. Um, topics. Topics is about to create a topic, but our topic is supposed to organize our assignments under one heading. If you think about an outline, you have the top heading, and then you also have bullets underneath it with information. Those bullets, if you think the top heading is your topic, and then the bullets underneath it are going to be your assignments that you give to the students. So organizing those, figuring out how you want your topic to, what you want your topic to be, is something that really needs some thought process on how you want it to be posted. So to create a topic, all we do is we're going to click on this topic down here. We'll push create and then topic. And um, all I do is topic, and then I'm going to give the topic a name. A box will pop up for you, and then you'll be able to be given that topic. And you'll write in your topic name, and I'm going to just use classwork week 1 or class week 1, and I'm going to click add down here at the bottom. So my classroom week 1 here is going to pop up. It's going to take me into my classwork tab, and I'm going to start seeing everything that I'm adding to my classwork, what I want my students to see. So my topic's going to pop up here. I have it circled in orange for you. And then what I want to do here is now I want to create my assignment that's going to go along with my topic. So what I'll do is I'll go back to that create tab. I'll click create, and I'm going to click assignment. So if you'll look here, this is what your assignment will look like. This is total empty assignment. I haven't filled in any portion of my assignment. And what I want to do is I want to make sure that my title and my instructions are specific to what I want my students to do for this particular activity. So what I want to do is I want to fill in my title, and I also want to fill in my instructions. Now, my title here is going to be shelving evaluation, and this is something that I've brought from my library science classes, but I wanted you to see my title. And make sure you give it a specific name. If you have shelving evaluation or topic 1, lesson 1 for in many different places throughout your classroom, it's going to be hard for you as the teacher to identify which one is which. So be specific, maybe put a date, maybe put just some sort of identifier as to what this specific assignment is. Now below, the instructions are not optional. The instructions are optional, but I suggest that you write in the instructions. Give some sort of click on the link below, or access this website and make sure that you go to. Give your students some sort of instruction as to what is expected for this assignment. We definitely don't want students to click on the assignment and have no idea what's going on, especially those kids that are virtual. And since I teach high school, I know that across the board, I know that students are going to say, my teacher said something, but I don't remember. So it's going to go one ear and out the other. So make sure that you have those instructions available for them. Within your assignment, you have right below, let's go back here and I'll show you. Right below, we're going to have add, 2 tabs, add and create. And within our add, this is where we can add files and materials. So quickly, I'm going to go through and show you the different ones that you can add. One is a Google Drive. If you have a document or a worksheet or a picture or something saved within your Google Drive account right now, you can add those materials, you can add templates directly from your drive and post them right there for your students. You can also add links from websites, Google Forms that you've created for tests, and you can add those straight into the assignment without ever navigating straight from this assignment. You can add a file that's been uploaded to your computer. Let's say you don't have access. Well, let's just let's just say that you have a file that's been uploaded to your computer, a picture or something, and it's not in your Google Drive, but you want to make sure that that image or document is able to upload and go into the assignment. You can do that as well. You can also add in YouTube videos to enrich your assignments, or for students to, once you've given a lesson, you can have the students come back and to view an additional lesson, maybe that you've recorded or maybe that you've found online for them to view. So we're going to add in this assignment, we're going to do a video. So in order to do a video, you're going to, again, go to the add portion right here, and we're going to click on YouTube. So add in YouTube, and a box is going to pop up for you to search the videos. You can search anything. You can search dogs barking, beagles, or Melville Dewey, which is what I specifically talk about with library science. So within here, there's your search box. Search your video, and then there's another way too. If you already have your URL, you can click the URL portion, and it's going to ask you to paste that URL from the website, and it's going to automatically pull up that specific video. Sometimes it doesn't pop up in the search, just be warned. But once you've searched it, put in your search titles right here. You're going to have several videos that are going to pop up that Google sees might be applicable to your search terms. So once you've chosen a video, I've always used the first one. And that it always comes up first, I guess, because I've done the search so much. But whenever you've put it in, it's going to have your video, and all you're going to do is select it. And when you select the video, it's going to highlight it in blue for you. And then once you've highlighted your video, you can hop down to the add button and click add. And this right here will add it directly to your Google Classroom. You'll see down at the bottom it says Introduction to Dewey Decimal System. Whenever you assign your assignment, students will have access to this, and all they have to do is hop down to the bottom of your assignment and click on the link, and it automatically goes straight to your video that you want them to view. You'll notice that I have instructions within my my classroom assignment here. So the next part that I have is adding a link. I want to make sure that I have a link specific to my website that I want my students to access. And in this part, I want them to do a Melville Dewey biography. So what you'll do is click on add and click link. And what you'll do is navigate to another tab. And in your tab, once you've found Melville Dewey, you'll get the URL from that tab. You'll copy and paste or you'll copy it, rather, not paste it. I'm sorry, there's a typo there. Copy your website URL. And then we'll go back to our Google Classroom, and then you're going to paste your link here in the box. And you're going to say, add the link. Once you've added the link, it's going to pop up into the assignment. Another example of pulling links and I mentioned your Google Forms. Another link that you can use, and some teachers aren't aware of this, but if you've used Google Forms before, you'll know this. If you're new to Google Forms, please be aware. But once you create a Google form, in the top hand side or right hand side of your screen, you're going to see the send button. Do not in any way, shape, or form take the URL in your Google form as it stands. You want to get a specific quiz related or form related URL for your instruction and for your students so that they can take the quiz. Here, what you're looking at is something where I can edit it and I can make it my own. So I'm going to click send in the top right hand corner, and I'm going to find my URL. And when I do that, it's going to say send form. You can send this form however you want to send it, but we specifically want to find the link to post in our assignments. So whenever the send form box pops up, I'm going to look here. It says send via. The first one is through email. The second one is through a link. And the third one is where it takes a long link that you already have and compresses it. So here, I'm going to click on my link, and then it's going to come up with a specific link for my Google form. I'm going to click copy. Automatically copies my link, and I can go back to my Google Classroom. And here's where I'm going to post my link. Add link, post the URL, add the link to your classroom. Now that we've added 3 assignments, I wanted you to see what they look like. So above here, this is going to be my instructions that I've given to my students, but I've compressed it down so you can see. The first assignment is my website from my YouTube channel that I have, or my YouTube video that I have accessed and I have put into my assignment for students. Then I have gone and I've made 2 links. I've added my link to Dewey, Melville Dewey here, and it's popped up in my assignment. And then I added my Google Forms link specific for an assignment or worksheet or an activity that I have for my students so they can put in correct answers, a quiz, I should say. And down at the bottom, that gives them access. So when they click on it, they can automatically be brought to the quiz and take it right there in that assignment. I don't have to send them anything other than posting it here. Another way that students can actively engage into your in your lessons, and what I have for my assignments for students to create a slideshow about the Dewey Decimal Classification System. And so I want them to outline. I want them to outline exactly what the Dewey Decimal System is, and I want them to create a PowerPoint related to that. So the way I want my students to create it, instead of me creating it, I want them to create it. So they're going to select create and go down to slides here. And as soon as the student selects create and slides, their document is going to pop up into your assignment folder, which we'll talk about it briefly in just a second. But their information is going to pop up within that assignment so they can access their Google Sheet or Google Slides, I should say, and they can go in and they can edit it. And you as the teacher can see everything that's being monitored, or you can monitor anything that's being edited or added to the slide. So this is a really great feature for students to be active and engaged within their assignment. One of the other things I have is to use the Dewey Decimal Classification System picture to help with their slideshow. So as students create their slideshow, they're not only going to create the slideshow, but they also have a picture that can help them. And I wanted them to have a visual of some sort. So I've uploaded that picture to my desktop. So the way I do this is I'm going to click Add, File, and then what it's going to do is it's going to pop up with the box here. And then you have several options. You have the Upload tab, which is where I can take and I can browse specifically through my computer. Then you also have Recent, My Drive, Shared Drives, and Starred documents or files within My Drive. All of these are accessed specifically through Google Drive. The Upload button is where I can access files and documents that are not in my drive. So what I want to do is click on Upload, and then I want to click Browse. When I add this file, what's going to happen is a box specific to browsing my computer is going to pop up. This is your open box, and you're going to find the location of the picture or the file that you're looking for. I chose downloads because I downloaded this file and named it. And then I'm also going to choose a file, and the file I wanted to choose was my Dewey Decimal image. So I'm going to choose this image, and then I'm going to click Open. And once I click Open, something really cool happens for us teachers. Not only does my image pop up, but I'm also given the option of how I want this information to be shared to my students. How do I want my students to manipulate the information I just gave them? There are 3 options to this. We can have the students view the file only. So the students can open up the file and do nothing with it other than watch it and see it. I can also have the students edit the file. And when I choose this option, that means that the students for my entire class, assuming everybody has the exact same assignment, everybody in this assignment, my whole class, can edit this document that I just posted for you. So if it's a worksheet, and you wanted everybody to take part in a discussion in this one worksheet, this is a great way in sharing it with your students. But if it's a worksheet that you want only the student to access and to change and to complete, then you need to choose make a copy for each student. And this makes a copy of this document for each and every one of your students in your class. So instead of having to go to the copy machine and copy out 32 worksheets, now you can just click make a copy for a student. And each and every student will be given a copy of what you originally would go to the copy machine and copy for them. So when Google does this, that document or that worksheet that you have for the students, it will automatically put the student's name on the document for you in the title of the document. So this is a really great way in minimizing us having to go to the copy machine and having to assign an individual document to each and every one of the students. My next thing that I want to add, and this is our final thing that we're going to add into our assignment, is a file from Google Drive. Now, for the link that I just showed you just a minute ago, the file that I just showed you, I wanted students just to see the picture. I wanted them to just view it. So for that particular document or material I wanted them to have, I chose students can view the file. They don't need to manipulate it in any way other than see it. Now for my Google Drive document, I want to show you how to set up a copy for your students. So I've already created several worksheets for students throughout the past 14 years on library procedures and shelving and just a worksheet I want them to have. And so what I do is I can add that worksheet to my Google Classroom. So as always, we're going to click add, and I'm going to choose Google Classroom, or I'm sorry, Google Drive. And what Google's going to do is going to pop up with a way that I can search within my Google Drive. Now, if you'll remember, upload is specific to your computer. So anything that you've uploaded, files or documents, it's going to access information on the computer. Recent, My Drive, shared drives, and starred or files and documents inside your drive that have been starred are the ones that I'm looking for. So I know I have recent here, but I'm going to go and I'm going to I could click My Drive and peruse the information where I have it stored in folders, or I can search for the document up here in the search and drive. And that's what we'll do today. So up at the top, I'm going to type in, I have a private investigators worksheet where they have to investigate the procedures in the library and the Dewey Decimal System. So I'm going to type in the name of my document, and I typed in private investigator. And what it does is it comes up with everything that I have done over the past 3 to 4 years that has the title or has something in the title called private investigators. So what I'll do is I will click on what I want to be in my assignment. So I'll click the assignment. If you'll notice, it's kind of highlighted in blue. And then once I've clicked it, I'm going to come down here to the bottom right-hand corner where it says Insert and click Insert. Notice above, this is what our assignment list would look like. Above it is the image that I just posted where students can only view. I don't want them to look anywhere else. I just want them to view that assignment. But for my worksheet, I want the students to have their own copy and complete the worksheet so that I can grade it virtually. I can grade it digitally on my computer or through Google. So I'm going to choose make a copy for each student. Once I have made all of my assignments and everything is in there and I'm good to go for my instructions, I need to set up how I want this assignment to be graded and who I want to have the assignment. So on the right-hand side of your screen on the assignment portion, circled in big and orange here, I have many options, many options, and I'm still learning some of them. So here we go. When we're grading and scheduling any of our assignments, we need to look at two portions. One, which classes do we want this assignment to go to? Here you're going to see I have a list of all of the different classrooms that I have within my Google Classroom. I've made several. I probably have about 25. But you can scroll down and it's automatically going to collect the classroom that you're currently working in. And then I can go back and I can click the box next to the classroom that I also want this assignment to pop in. So if you have 3 English 1 classes and you want all 3 classes to have this exact same assignment, you can click first block, second block, third block. And those classes are going to automatically get it once you push the assignment out. The other thing is next to it, it says all students. In this classroom, I did not have students added to the classroom, but I do want to tell you that once you click all students, this goes to every student that is enrolled within your Google Classroom. However, if I had students added to it or had accepted my invitations, I may have 20 students. But if I only wanted 5 of those students to have access to this assignment, I could go through my list, unclick all students, and then I could click those 5 students' names. And only the assignment would only be available for those 5 once I posted the assignment. I really like that option too because it's really good for good group work. The downside to it is that I have to make the same assignment 4 or 5 different times depending on how many groups I have within the class. So that's the downside to that. However, it's really great for you to access what the group is creating and doing in that assignment. And no other student within the class can see or manipulate the assignment other than the group members. Um, the next thing is to assign a point or not assign the points. In most cases, I will assign it if it's a specific amount of points and the students need to know that. I'll let them know, hey, look, this is going to be worth 100 points. Or if it's an assignment that I'm not necessarily going to grade it yet, but we may come back and grade it later, I put ungraded. Totally totally manipulated by you. You can change the point values. You can change it to a 20-point assignment or a 5-point bonus assignment. However you want to manipulate it, it'll grade it. If you click graded and you give it a point value, the document will show up in your grading portion so you can see what's missing from each student and what is not or what has been turned in. The next thing is you can assign a due date and a due time for the assignment. So what you'll do is you'll go down to where it says due and you'll click due date. And down here it'll say no due date's been assigned. However, if I click the down arrow right here on the right hand side of no due date, I'm going to find that a calendar pops up. And within that calendar you can manipulate, you can go, technically you're going to have to go forward, not backwards. But once you go forward, you can go forward with your arrows here and you can choose the date that the assignment is due. Once the assignment has its due date listed, you can come down below it. It will give you an option to choose when the assignment is due, what time. So whenever if the student posted the assignment at 12 a.m. the next day, then it would be late. And it would automatically say missing or late work on the assignment for the students to view. So this is a good tool for you to use if you want your students to return that essay by midnight tonight. So this allows them to know if it's late. Another thing is that within this assignment, it's not automatically put into a topic. Once you had your topics made within your classroom or your classwork area, then you can decide, do I want to have this assignment appear inside of that topic area, or do I want it to be something separate, or do I want it to appear inside of another topic area? What do I want to do with this? And Google gives you that option. So on the right hand side, it'll say topic, and you can click the down arrow, which is right here underneath my orange circle. You can click the down arrow for topic, and it's going to give you 3 options. 1, no topic. I'll go back and decide later if I want it to go under a topic. 2, you can create a topic for your students and a brand new topic. Or 3, you can add the assignment into the classroom or the topic that you've already made, which is our classroom week 1. So I'm going to choose classroom week 1, of course, since that's where we're working. Another thing, I'm going to skip rubric for just now. I'm going to hop down to originality. If you are a teacher who is wanting to put through an essay of some sort and you want to push it through for to see if there's some sort of plagiarism within the essay, then you can use the check plagiarism, find the originality report for it. And so what's going to happen is Google only allows 5 assignments within the originality reports for each class that you have. So be aware of how many assignments you post onto Google Classroom, and that you're going to require an originality report. But they do go through it, and they do pick out the parts that could be plagiarized, and they give it a report, a lot like Turnitin. So the next part is a rubric. Now, this is fun, something that I've just discovered, and I love it, and I'm going to use it. But I grade with a rubric, specifically when I have my students use a shelving evaluation. And so I want my students to know what I'm requiring based upon the rubric. What do they need to look for when they're out in my stacks of books, and what I expect them to do within those stacks? So what you can do is you can add the rubric, and you are given 3 options. You can create a rubric, which is basically make your own, and it saves it when you're done. 2, you can reuse an already made rubric. This is an already made Google rubric. We should amend that. So make sure that you know that it's an already created rubric in Google. And 2 is you can import a rubric from Google Sheets. Now, I have been working specifically with Create Rubric, and I am constantly learning how to incorporate that into other lessons. So Create Rubric, and when we get to Create Rubric, it's going to give me several criteria that I need to meet. And the first couple are, and I want you to be aware of this, is in the top right hand or in the top left hand corner at the top, it'll say practice assignment. And that's the title it's going to give it until you save the assignment within, or save the rubric within the assignment. So your practice assignment, the title will change once the assignment is pushed forth. And the criterion title is what's your first category on your rubric. So my first category was cleanliness, because I want to make sure my students go into my stacks and clean and make sure that there's no trash, students chewing on suckers and throwing their suckers into the shelves. I want to make sure that that's been picked up, or has the books that are messed up have been reorganized and pulled back to the front of the stacks, to the shelves, to the edge of the shelves, so students can see the books. I want to make sure that everything is cleanly. So I made this as a criterion for my shelving evaluations. So cleanliness is my criterion title. Now I also have, yes, criterion title. So the criterion description is where you can add what you expect. However, most, or what this criterion is related to, maybe an objective. I'm choosing not to do that, because what I want to do is I want to add my criterion and what's to be expected within the criterion title. So I have here, you can see the points available. I can put in the points, title level. You can, however your rubric is done, Google has given you the title level. You can also give the description. And within this portion of my rubric, for 16 points, which is the max amount you can get for this area, is you have to shelve your books and they have to be free of dust and pollutants. Completely great, wonderful cleanliness, awesome, 16 points. Well, my next part of that is, what if it's not clean? I can add another level to my rubric over here on the left-hand side. There's also one on the right in case you wanted to add 20 points. But you add to the left, and it says over here on the left, you can push it, and you can add a level. See here, it says add level. And within that level, I would add my next points, which would be, 12 points, and I would give my description of, well, if you didn't have everything clean and this is what I see, then these are the points that you get. So you're just setting up your rubric, and you can do that throughout your making of it. Now, I do want to go back here so you can see this better. But right here, whenever you finish cleanliness as one portion of your rubric, and you want to go back and you want to add the next portion of your rubric, maybe shelving order. and I want to add that addition to my rubric, this is where I can add my criterion, add another criterion area, and then fill in my information and my point values for each portion of my rubric. Now, excuse me. Always remember that if you type something in and you don't like it, or you decided that you don't want that point value, you can always go down to the bottom of the criterion area where the three little dots are, little snowmen, and you can click on the snowman, and you can always select delete this level, and it will delete it so you can start again. Remember, nothing is ever set in stone until, I mean, you can always go back and you can edit and do however you want to, or however you want to edit and add what you want to the rubric. So once you've finished, make sure that you have clicked save. Again, just like in your settings wheel from the beginning of our uh, presentation, I told you to go up and click save. With your rubric, also make sure that you click save so that your rubric is saved within your assignment. So this is the completed picture of some of the completed rubric I did for my shelving evaluation. And I had order and sequence, and I gave information. Of course, this is from another, this is information that was given from another rubric. And then there was 16 points, 12 points, 8 points, and I gave my specifications on what needs to be completed and if you would receive these points if you didn't, or if this is what I saw. So, but it also, if you look at the top, it also gives the total amount of points per my rubric. So the rubric's already set up. The good thing is that once you save this as well, it pops up here for your students to see, and it will be attached to the assignment once you've posted it. Also, more things that we need to be aware of, and this is the fun stuff and the very good stuff for us preparers. I'm a teacher who likes to prepare a week or two in advance. So I know what assignments are going to be posted, or I can move those assignments however I want to, but I already have them developed. So I may develop my assignment, but I want to post it a week later. That's okay. And I want to post it at a certain time. Like, I don't want this block to get this assignment before fourth block. So I'm only going to have first block get it at 8 o'clock, or I'll only want fourth block to get this assignment at 12 o'clock. So I may be able to manipulate it per class. Be aware that when you push that 4 right here with the class, Google Classes, that if you were planning to assign at a later date, that you need to only select that class that will receive the assignment at that time. So there, when you click assign here, the down arrow will pop up and you'll have 4 options. One is to assign. That means to push the assignment out right now. I want the students to have them to manipulate it at this moment. The other one is to schedule, and I'll show you how to schedule in just a second. We're going to set up a time for the classroom to push the assignment out. You also have to save the draft. Sometimes I'm in the middle of a planning period and I'm typing out my assignment and I can't finish it right then. If I click Classwork, Google automatically saves it, or I can click Save Draft and it will pop up grayed out in my classroom so that I can go back and edit it whenever I have the time to do so. Also, you have discard draft. If you have decided that, nope, I don't want to do this assignment, I don't have time for it, you can click discard draft and it deletes the entire thing. To schedule the assignment, what you'll do is you'll go into Google, click schedule. You'll click the day that you want it to be released. So if my assignment's not due until tomorrow, I'm going to click or if I don't want my students to get it until tomorrow, I'm going to click the next day. And then I'm going to say 8 o'clock is when I want this to be pushed out. My assignment will be due whatever time we set up beforehand. If I want the assignment due by midnight, I will have the same day. And then I'll also have the time that the assignment is due, which would be midnight. Once I've set this up, I can click schedule. And when I click schedule, my assignment will appear in my classwork area in my tabs. Classwork week 1, underneath it, you're going to see that we have the shelving evaluation. It's scheduled for February the 22nd at 8 o'clock. And whenever it has been pushed through, it's going to appear in blue the next time I see it. You can access this and edit it at any point. The only thing is the difference when you have chosen make a copy for your students, you cannot manipulate that area just yet. Google is constantly evaluating and redoing portions of the Google Classroom to make it better and easier for us teachers. And they do give us the option of giving them feedback. So if there's something that maybe whenever you're perusing through Google, you want to give feedback on, definitely do so if you can. Um, some other features that you're going to find that are next to Create. Originally, we didn't have anything but Meet. So whenever you create your assignment, what you're going to see is three things that are going to pop up for you for your classroom for instructional purposes. Okay. The first one is, let me reiterate this too. If this assignment is something that you want to edit and it hasn't been pushed through, you can do the edit. The snowman right here, I call them snowmen. The three little dots, the horizontal dots. I'm sorry, vertical dots. You can click edit, or if you're just not filling the assignment, you can click delete here as well. So Meet, Google Class or Google Calendar, and Google Classroom Drive folder will be created once you push out your first assignment. Meet is already there. I'm sorry, Google Calendar and Class Drive folder will be pushed out. Meet is already there. Meet is a way that you can schedule a Google Meet virtual face-to-face with your students and have an original link for your class students only. So you can push this link out and have students click meet, and whenever at the time that you're planning to meet, and that meeting will pop up and you'll be able to communicate and give a lesson to your students, assuming that you're doing live virtual instruction. Another thing that will pop up is a calendar. Every Google Classroom that you create is, and any assignments that are within that classroom will pop up and give its own Google Calendar. You can click Google Calendar here and it'll pop up, and anything that you add, any assignments that are added will pop up on your calendar. So if you're in your calendar for any other purpose, you can see what's going to be due for that specific class at that specific time. Excuse me. Your class drive folder for the teacher, the class drive folder, you can see the assignments that the students have completed and have done. And I'll show you the picture in just a second of what that'll look like. And for a student, the student can see their individual assignments that have been posted. I like to peruse through my son's Google classrooms just to see what he sees in variation of what I see. And so in this case, it's the students can still see what I can see, only I get to see everybody and he only sees his stuff. So it's kind of neat to watch how the platform is manipulated between the teacher and the student. Here's a picture of your class drive. The class drive is going to have the assignments, and it'll automatically create folders for the assignments that you make, because you're going to have 32 students, assuming you have that big of a class, in their assignments in one. And so it's easier if they automatically post inside of a folder. So my shelving evaluation assignment that I just posted is here. And so anything that is posted from the students is going to be posted here. You'll also notice that there's a template. If you'll remember, is that I posted the private investigators worksheet for each and every student. So inside of the template is going to be that document that says private investigators, and it'll be posted inside of this folder. Also, if you'll remember, I posted a picture from my computer. Well, now it's in Google Classroom, and it also saved it to my Google Drive in my Class Drive folder. So today we have created and set up a Google Classroom. We've explored the stream, the classroom, people, and grades tab. And we've created a topic for our assignment so that we can organize our assignments. And we've created an assignment that focused on elements that could be added to help our students and to help us. So I challenge you as a teacher to go through, review this presentation. It'll definitely help you in organizing your classroom, creating that, and being involved with your students. This is a simplistic level. We could have gotten a little bit more simplistic, but this at least gives you the information and questions that you may have when you pull up, make an assignment, and it gives you everything that you need to know. Um, I hope that this has been beneficial for you and you've seen that it is something that can be used within your classroom. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'll try my best to help you the best way I can. And it was nice to give this presentation for you. And best of luck with your Google Classroom.